Our next speaker will be speaking about how to build a long-term success brand strategy. And we have Admas, right?
Yeah, hi.
Hi,
Morning.
hi.
Morning.
Good morning, good morning. Thank you so much for joining us. And he's the brand strategist and marketing coach at Attitude Sendirian Berhad, and a very nice name. And he'll be sharing about discovering the 4 steps in building a long-term successful brand. And thank you so much for joining us in the Marketing in the New Normal. Very glad to have you on board. And thank you so much for supporting events like this at this time. And anytime when you're ready, you can start. You'll be having about 45 minutes, and the last 15 minutes is for Q&A. So audience, they can ask the questions along the way. Okay?
Yep, sure. Thanks.
All right, take it away. Thanks.
All right. Okay. Yeah. So once again, thank you so much. Before I begin, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank Exabytes for having me here, and to make sure everyone is in the right room. Just let me know in the comment box down below that how many of you want to build a brand that attracts more customer. All right. Let me know in the comment box down here below so that I know that whether you're in the right room or not. All right. So now, questions number 2. How many of you would like to make your customers come to you rather than you going after them? All right. Let me know in the comment box down below. All right. So again, before I begin, I would like to take this opportunity to acknowledge each and every one of you here, since that you have spent long hours, right, learning with many other speakers, and because of that, I'll do my best to make your time well worth. All right. So how many of you are ready? Let me know in the comment box down below. All right. So rather than me talk, so why not we have some engagement? All right. Thanks. So in today's topic, I'll be sharing about what are the 4 steps in creating a long-term successful brand. All right. So if let's say you don't have like a pen or paper with you, so maybe you can just type in the comment box down below. All right. Because the moment that if you don't write down or when you don't type, what I would say is often we forget, right? So just write down, take notes, all right? So now, all right, the first question before we dive into branding, that what is business to you? Whether you are an individual or you are a company that running a business, what is business to you? All right, this is I think it's a very important questions before we get started, so that to make sure everyone is aligned. All right, so just let me know in the comment box down below that what is the context or the understanding of the word business to you. All right, so now this is not a misconception or whatsoever, but whenever it comes to business, I believe that it's more than just buy and sell, right? How many of you agree that it's more than just buy and sell and making the difference in between those transactions, right? All right, so now maybe I can use a flip chart. Sorry, I'm more to the old school guy that I don't use a presentation. All right. So now, if let's say for each and every business, all right, the business goal is always to drive more customers to our business, right? So in order to do that, we can either run ads, or we can build a brand. All right. So the key question is, when one day, if let's say our ads stops running, or we are no longer running any promotion campaign, will our customer or our potential customer still remember us? All right. So that's the question. The moment that we stop running ads, will our customers still remember your brand? All right. So when it comes to branding, what is the definition of branding to you? All right, let me know in the comment box down here below. All right, so thanks Hisham, thanks Koka, thanks Justin, thank you Ken. All right, so what is branding to you? All right, how many of you would like to share? Then just put it in the comment box down here below. All right. Now, whenever it comes to branding, a lot of people, they have this idea, all right? There's no right or wrong, but often people will have this idea whereby branding is more through something like visual. How many of you agree that, right? So the think like it's more through like a logo, slogan, tagline, etc., etc., etc. All right, or some colorful graphic design. All right. So what's branding to you? Is it just because of logo, colors? You know, because I often see that a lot of business owner and including entrepreneurs that they spend heavily on design, right? In their corporate branding identity design, they spend like 5 to 10K just to get the design done. All right. So there's no right and wrong about that, but let us just examine about that. All right. So now, all right, in order for us to create, a branding, what is branding? Branding is purely a recognition. All right. So what is recognition? So let's do some game or some exercise right here. All right. So now, if let's say we were to speak about, if I were to mention about hamburger, all right, hamburger, what's the brand that you think of? Hamburger. All right. What do you guys think of when I mention the word hamburger? And what if I mention about fried chicken? Who do you think of? And when I mention about carbonated drinks, what do you think of? All right. So I believe that most of you would think of what do you call this? McDonald's, KFC, and Coca-Cola. Yes. All right. Yeah. Thanks. All right. So now you see, the moment that we think of hamburger, you think of McDonald's. But why didn't you think of Burger King? Why didn't we think of Carl's Jr.? Why didn't we think of Wendy's Burger or any other burgers, right? And the moment that we think of fried chicken, why do we think of KFC instead of Texas chicken or instead of Mary Brown? And the moment that we think of Coca-Cola, why didn't we think of like some F&N Sarsi, 100 plus or etc. Okay, so it's about McDonald's and KFC and Coca-Cola, simple as that, right? So my idea is this: when it comes to branding, it's always about one thing. It's about recognition. All right, it's about what? Recognition, right? So the moment, if let's say, whenever people speak of your product and they didn't think of you, who they will think of? Your competitors, right? So at the end of the day, what we want to obtain from branding is about recognition. Yes? All right. Yeah, some of you think of Pepsi. Thanks, John. So anyway, how many of you like start to learn something? All right. Let me know in the comment box down below. All right. So I'll dive straight into the 4 steps of how can you actually create a long-term successful brand strategy. How many of you are ready? Give me a yes. All right. Burger stall. Ramly Burger. Yeah. Thanks. All right. Okay, so step number 1, all right, I think I just leave up the flip chart. Step number 1, write down the word positioning, all right? Write down the word positioning, all right? You can just write down in your notes, or you can just, type it in in the comment box here down below. Write down the word positioning. That's for step number 1, all right? So what is positioning? When it comes to, I would say it's business expansion or market penetration, a lot of people, they will say, I want to capture this size of market, right? Market capitalization. But just think of it this way. With the exercise that we have done earlier, when you think of like McDonald's, KFC, or Coca-Cola, it's not so much about market capitalization. It's about more to mind recognition. So in order to do that, we have to understand how the human minds think, right? So you have to understand that the moment that people think of your product, will they think of you, your brand, your name? So that's what most people, they have missed out with. That's why they have spent a lot of numbers and money heavily in just creating all the visual work. But there's no right and wrong about it. It's just that which part is underperforming, right? Okay, so yeah, so step number one is about positioning because at the end of the day, what we want is about recognition. All right, so very simple, right? So step number two, all right, very fast, step straight to step number two. Step number two is to solve a real problem. All right, is to solve a real problem. So when we mention about solving a real problem, just think of it this way. Uh, for whatever actions that we have done all this time, regardless whether in our business, our relationship, any decision, even the decision that you have taken to be here, to learn, to grow, what are the factors that triggers all this decision? Right? So maybe again, you guys can write down. It's about avoiding pain and to gain more pleasure, right? So just look at what we have been buying all this time. Our clothes, our watch, anything that we have done is about to avoid pain or to gain more pleasure. So when it comes to your business, is your product or your services or your offerings solving a real problem in the marketplace? Right. So in this case, what you need to think of is what we can see right now is during this COVID-19, many businesses has been shut down, and part of it is they are unable to go online, and another part of it is because uh, their products or their services is deemed irrelevant, or I would say not the essential services, right? That's why in times like this, people tend to save up more, so because we have no idea whether this COVID-19 will extend after this coming May 12th, right? Right? So you need to think of when it comes to your business, what is the real problem that your offerings is trying to solve in the marketplace? Because if let's say we are not solving a problem, at the end of the day, our service might again be deemed irrelevant, and this is how we going to be expelled or cast out from this marketplace, right? So whether it's a product, whether it's a service, what problems are you solving? Right? So maybe I think it's kind of good that I believe that most of you here are business owner and entrepreneurs, right? So maybe you can write down in the comment box down below that what problems are you trying to solve, or what problems are you solving in the comment box down below, so that you get a lot of more attentions of who knows that some of your potential prospect might be here, right? So just write down what is the problem that you're trying to solve. All right. So as we can see that put aside all these numbers and statistics, whereby after this COVID-19, there will be more than 30% of businesses is going to shut down here in Malaysia. So if let's say assuming there's a 1.2 million registered business here, more than 360,000 businesses are going to close down. All right. So we have to identify what's the problem behind all this shutdown of all these companies. Is it just because of high cost, high operating costs, or is it because of their services is deemed irrelevant? All right. So in order for us to survive or to strive, in this critical moment or after this COVID-19, I believe that each and every product or services we have to, it has to be designed in solving a real problem. Just look at example, this tumbler, this pen, or whatever that you can see all around you is either to solve a problem or to gain more pleasure. All right. So how many of you have learned a lot? All right. Yeah. So thank you, Sufran. How the product being positioned? So never mind. I'll go ahead with the 4 steps. So just let me know that what you guys want to know. Then after that, I'll for the last 15 minutes, then I'll go for the Q&A session. All right. Okay. So step number 3. Step number 3 is kind of interesting. Step number 3 is be customer oriented. All right. So write down customer oriented. So in this case, I would like to use one example. I'll say one case, real life case example, whereby see how you can relate to it, right? So I try not to name the name of the company because I'm not sure if, let's say, you are here watching, live or the broadcast. So now, in here, what we can see recently is, I'm not sure if you have seen before, whereby in this static billboard, you can see numbers of advertisement. So one of it is a car battery company says that kilang battery terbesar di Malaysia. All right. So company A is saying what do you call this? Kilang battery terbesar di Malaysia, the biggest car batteries here in Malaysia, manufacturing the car batteries. And B company is saying that my car battery dua kali ganda tahan lebih lama. All right. Last 2 times longer. So one is about the biggest car battery manufacturer here in Malaysia, and number 2 is it can last twice longer. So if let's say today you are a consumer, all right, would you buy from company A or would you buy from company B? Right. So let me know in the comment box down below if you buy from company A or company B. So again, company A, the headline or the message is about the biggest car batteries manufacturer here in Malaysia, and number 2 is last 2 times longer. Right. So which one would you buy? A or B? A or B? A or B? All right. Number 2. Thanks, John. Thanks. All right. So now you see, who else? Who else will buy number 2? All right. Who else will buy number 2? Company B. Thanks, Hisham. All right. So now you see, whatever the product it is, back to just now the point number 2 is about solving a real problem, right? So again, right here in point number 3, just now I mentioned about the word customer oriented. So it is very important that for whatever things that we are buying a result, right? Each and every consumer is buying a result. And the thing is, it's not something to be very offensive, but I would say is people have no interest whether they are the largest or they are the smallest, as long as they can get the problem solved, right? Oh, so there's one friend here, Mr. Paul, saying that he'll buy from company A. All right, but on majority, what we can see here is proven that most of us will buy from company B, whereby dua kali ganda tahan lebih lama, right? So whatever that people are buying, they are buying a result. So again, ask yourself, when it comes to your business, when it comes to your offerings, what results can you deliver to your consumer, right? If let's say it doesn't deliver the result that people want, then again, it's going to be deemed irrelevant. All right. So always think of from the perspective of the customer that, you know, what does the customer want? Who do they want to become? What they want to solve, right? So rather than thinking of how big I am, how great I am, because I believe that a lot of people, I'll put it this way, all right? Let's just do a test. Through this camera, all of you, I would say most of you, have no interest in me. All right? But you only have the interest in what I can give you through this sharing. Yes? All right? So it's kind of weird to make this example, but I believe that you get it right. So again, people have no interest on how big we are or you know, who we are. They just want to know that what you can give me, what can I get in return from you, from your brand. So just think of this way, what is your brand trying to solve, and what result can your brand deliver, and what people can get from your brand, right? So again, if let's say most of you that you have your websites or you know, your anything that is visible and can be accessed by the customer, especially when it comes to website. A lot of people, they still have this kind of website whereby, you know, our mission, our vision, our core value, etc., etc., etc. How many of you have website like this, right? That's saying that your mission, this and that, this and that, this and that, and so on and so forth, right? So my point is this, just think of from the consumer point of view, whereby when you look at those mission statement or those vision of of the other companies that they have, how would that be able to relate into you as a customer? Right? So my point is this, it's not so much of being, rather than being company oriented. It is time for each and every one of us to switch, all right, to customer oriented. So whether what kind of content you are publishing in anywhere, whether it's online or offline, we have to understand that for whatever that we draft out, all right, the headline, the content, the sub headline, or any other thing, that when a consumer they read, all right, all those words, how would that be able to relate into them, right? So let us try to avoid these mistakes that trying to tell the market that how big we are, how great we are, because at the end of the day, nobody cares, right? So yeah, we only said for sure, right? So again, it is proven that nobody cares about, have no interest. I will not say care, all right? It's kind of cruel this way, but I believe that people have more interest in themselves, like in solving what problems can you solve? What result or what solution can you provide me? Right now, I'm suffering. Right now, in this pandemic, that my business is going down. So what can your brand help me in assisting me or my business so that I can transform myself into a better version, so that I can survive or so that I can thrive during this moment or after this moment. All right. So the key questions to ask yourself is, what is your brand trying to offer? Then are you customer oriented or are you company oriented? All right. So that's point number 3. All right. So how many of you have learned a lot? All right, let me know. All right, give me a 3, type down 3 in the comment box down below that you have learned a lot. All right, so right now we have done with point number 1, which is to position yourself. But the moment that we want to position ourselves in the marketplace, all right, is try to, not to say to avoid, market capitalization, but try to focus more on the mind recognition. All right, that's number 1. Number 2 is to solve a real problem. All right, solve a real problem. Each and every product is created or designed to solve a problem. So if let's say today your offerings, our offerings, our products or our services, is not designed to solve a problem, then it will be deemed irrelevant now or in the future. All right, just a matter of time. Right. So point number 3 is to be customer oriented. So rather than telling the market of how big we are, how great we are, etc. Why not we focus on the customer, thinking from the customer point of view that who do they want to become, what do they want? All right, so that's step number 1, number 2, and number 3. So how many of you are ready for step number 4? All right, type down number 4 down below. All right. All right, so point number 4 is about share your story. All right, share your story. How many of you here believe that you have some story to be shared to the public? All right, say yes. All right, say yes. Thanks. All right, so just say yes. All right, so now, why is it storytelling is so important? All right, why is it storytelling is so important? That just think of it this way. When you think of Apple, all right, Apple, the product of this company, Apple, who will you think of? All right. So again, if you think of AirAsia, who do you think of? And as for point number 3, the moment that you think of, example, Virgin Airline, who do you think of? Then my question is this: the moment people think of your company, will people think of you? Right? The moment of people thinking of your company or your product, will people think of you? Right? So just put it this way: the moment that we think of Samsung, all right, Samsung Electronics, who will they think of? The people of the moment of people thinking of what do you call this, Huawei, all right, who would they think of? Right? So my point is this: does your company or your brand, have you in it, have your story in it. Do you bind your story with your company in it? All right, so that's my key questions to you. All right, so just think of it this way: what if today we remove, all right, we remove Steve Jobs? Of course, he's no longer here. Sorry. All right, we remove Steve Jobs from the company, assuming that he's still here, or we remove Sir Tony Fernandez from AirAsia, or we remove Sir Richard Branson from Virgin Airlines. What will all these companies become? Will they become as great as they were, or the company will just become another airline company or another phone producing company? All right. So again, when it comes to your business, if let's say today we are no longer here, will still people remember you? All right. So tell a compelling story to your audience rather than just keep selling them or offering them a product. All right. So where do you want to, other than placing your focus product or your brand in their mind for the purpose of recognition? On top of that, right? What more you want people to recognize you as? What more do you want people to remember you as? So I think that's the questions that we need to ask ourselves, right? So I'm not sure of how many of you that you already have your story craft out, for all this time, because I believe unless that we are born yesterday, each and every one of us, we have a story to tell, right? All right. So maybe you can start telling of who you are, where you're from, then what triggers you to run this business, and along this journey, what obstacles have you faced, or challenges that you might have already overcome, and what are the big things that you're trying to bring to this marketplace. All right, is to create the expectation of the people towards your brand. All right. So again, back to the point number 4. Tell a compelling story. So when it comes to your story, or where it could be an individual or it could be a company, right? So when it comes to your story, what story do you have to tell to the people in the marketplace? Yes? All right. Yeah, so Apple still continue even Steve Jobs is not here, of course. But what I'm trying to deliver is, when it comes to your company or your brand, does your brand be able to inspire other? All right. So maybe right here. Okay, I'll use another example. How many of you have heard of Oxwhite? All right. How many of you have heard about Oxwhite? Say yes. Say yes. All right. So for those of you that have not know Oxwhite is a company producing high quality shirts at 69 ringgit. All right. So I think as a Malaysian, we know about this brand, the existence of this brand, and I believe that all of you that know the founder, which is a very good friend of mine, CK Chang, right? So how many of you know Oxwhite? Yes. So now just think of it this way: is Oxwhite trying to sell you? All right. There's no right and wrong, but let us examine this. All right. Is Oxwhite trying to offer us a $69 Supima cotton shirt, a high quality shirt, 5-star product at 1-star price at 69, or is Oxwhite trying to sell you a story? All right, there's no right and wrong, but just think it this way: if let's say today we remove CK from Oxwhite, what will Oxwhite become? That's number 1. Number 2, if let's say there's another competitors out there, whether the local competitors from the local marketplace or from the global marketplace, trying to attack this brand or trying to compete with this brand and came out with Ox Black. All right, Ox Black. All right, funny name. All right, Ox Black. All right, so now we have Oxwhite here with CK Chang in it, and we have competitors, Ox Black, trying to compete at not 69 but 65. So as a consumer, who would you buy from? Would you continue to buy from Oxwhite, or would you would you rather switch and buy from Ox Black? All right. So how many of you are going to continue to buy from Oxwhite? Let me know. All right. So I hope that through this exercise, I'll be able to give you some able to visualize of how all these things going to be able to relate to your business. All right. So again, do you have a compelling story to be shared to the people, right? So if let's say today you are running a team, all right, or you are running a company with a lot of staffs, in your company, how many of them uh, knows you personally, like knows your story? That one day, if let's say you, okay, put it this way, whenever someone leaves a company, all right, is came down to four reasons. All right, reason number one is uh, the money is not enough. All right, the pay is not enough. All right, how many of you agree that? And point number two is they are not appreciated by their employer or their superior. And point number three is that they have nothing more to learn or to gain from your company or from your business. And as for point number four, is whereby they find no meaning or find no reasonable reason to stay in this company anymore. How many of you agree all these 4 points, right? So again, as for point number four, that our staffs or our team, they no longer find the excitement or the meaning of life to work with you or to stay with you. All right. So why is that happening? All right. So if let's say one day, would you agree that this could also happen to your company? Maybe yes, maybe no. But when it happens, what is your plan? All right. So does each and every one of your staffs within your company or even in the marketplace knows who you are, what you are trying to do, or what you are trying to offer to the people, rather than just selling, 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 and selling? All right. So always craft out your brand story, right? How can your brand actually inspire the people? All right. Why would they buy from you and not from your competitors? If let's say there's a price competition, some people came out with a similar price with the same spec, copy bulat bulat, all these kind of things, right? How can you actually compete, right? So one of the way to win in this competition without competing, right, is through telling a good story. It's through delivering a good story to our audience. Let them know that today your brand is different. All right. So a lot of people, they're trying to what they are trying to do is what I think every one of you might have heard this word before, like same but different, right? Same but different. But how different are you compared to your competitors? When it comes to people trying to come up with the same product, you have this product A, people also come up with this product A, product B that's so identical to yours. How can you actually compete? So I'm not sure if whether you are watching this live or this broadcast, what is your plan? Have you ever thought about this, right? So when all this kind of competition exists or when it happens, right? So what is your plan? Are you trying to going after for the price war? If let's say they are selling at $2, you are going to sell at 190. Then when you are selling at 150, are they going to sell at 140, and so on and so forth? All right. So that's for point number four. All right. So I think
Admas,
I shared
sorry,
all 4 points. I shared
sorry
all
for
the 4 points.
interrupting.
Yeah. Thanks to
Are you
you.
going to continue?
Yeah, actually, I just done my 4 points.
Okay, you're done with it. Okay,
I done
Ken.
my
Nice
4 points.
timing. Thank you, Admas. Thank you so much for sharing your input. I think it was very, very interactive. Everyone came on board. Everyone shared a lot of interaction with you. So thank you so much for
Thank you.
making it very interactive. And we have a few questions. Is it okay if we take up the
Yeah,
questions?
sure.
Okay, I'll just read out the question for you because I think we lost track of all the so many comments. I'll just read out for you. Will the results justify the price of the product that consumer will decide to buy from you from the competitor?
Sorry, would you
Will the results justify the price of the product that consumer will decide to buy from you or from the competitor?
how come I don't see the questions here?
Because I think it's a bit to the back already
Oh,
because
okay. So
many
it's about result
interaction.
or price?
Wait,
Yeah, it's
Will
about.
the results justify the price of the product that consumer will decide to buy from you or from the competitor?
Oh, yes, of course. I believe because just think of it this way that if let's say today you and I mean we are both consumers and every one of us here we are consumers, right? So just think
Mm-hmm.
of how is this going to reflect into our life whenever that
Mm-hmm.
you see that this product is delivering this result and this product is also delivering the identical result, right? So in terms of pricing, how would you make your decision? This is selling at $20. This is selling at $15. Which one would you buy?
Mm-hmm.
So if let's say the results are the same or identical, right? What more can you compete in? Right. So maybe right here I can. Would it be okay if I share one more technique with people in terms of competition? Would it be okay? Just a,
Um,
just a one
can,
word.
can a quick one, yeah. Can.
Eric. Simple as that. All right. So how many of you have friends named Eric? All right. Type down Eric, 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 Eric. Okay. So what is Eric? All right. So what is Eric? All right. So I believe that whenever in this whenever we come up with some products or some offering, that there will definitely be competition, right? So you have to benchmark like what is your competitors offering, how are they offering it, and etc. And part of it when it comes to result, we have to think of the entire process, right? Like what more can we eliminate? What more if let's say we can't eliminate that we can reduce, and what we can increase, and what more we can create,
I
right?
didn't know Harry gets so much of meaning.
Yeah, so eliminate is in terms of your cost, right? So in order, because we have to understand one thing that price equals to cost. Today, how we justify our price is from our cost. So can you get your cost much more lower so that you can set down a lower price? So when it comes in terms of result, right? If let's say they are delivering this result, can we increase the result expectation or the results that we are able to deliver to the marketplace further and higher compared to the competitors? And what more that they might have overlooked that we can create as a business owner, right? So this Eric, thank you, thank you.
Eric. Okay. Another question is, can we change or amend our story to meet future demands or customer needs?
Change our story to meet new demands.
Yeah.
What
To
kind of
meet
story?
future demands or customer needs. I don't know how
Mhm.
we can amend our story, but the question is just there. Is it possible for us to? I think they are asked. I feel like their question is if we can target for different people for different demands, can we, amend the story a bit so that it means their needs?
Yeah, I think, yeah, thanks, Xavier. I think it's kind of interesting questions. But okay, just put it this way. Why
Mm.
are we doing what we are doing today? Why are we doing what we are doing today? It's the same questions when it comes to your business that why are you running your business? I mean, why do you start your business at the very first place? Is there a problem to solve that you're trying to solve? Or is it just because of numbers and figures? Right? So before identifying all your so-called your potential prospect, your clients, or searching for products or whatsoever, all right, your story is about the journey of how you begin or how you started your company. All right, so that's the story that I'm referring to. Right. So regardless whether how the future trend is going to be, your story is still the same because that's your reason of why you started it at the very first place. Right. So we don't change our story, we change our strategy. So make sure that we have a very supporting, compelling story to be shared to the people, right? So stories, example, your past can't be changed. My past can't be changed. The same goes to everyone, right? So we change our strategy, but not change our story. Yeah. So this is
Okay.
how I would address to that questions.
Okay. We have another question.
Yeah.
Okay. My company is selling ICT solutions to companies. Sometimes I don't know what to do regards to storytelling when my audience is involved in C-level executives. Other words, I sell. In other words, I think I sell boring stuff to serious audience. What do you recommend?
All right. So now, okay, again, very, very interesting questions. As for this, I would say, since this friend of ours already know that he's selling boring stuff, right? And because of that, he could be, stuck somewhere, right? So just stop selling boring stuff. All right. I mean,
Simple as that, huh?
those who are listening might think that it cannot, hey, how come like that? It cannot, right? But that's the truth, right? So just think of, okay, one more thing, one more thing. Just think of, okay, the high traffic product. All right, at any time given, if let's say this guy is selling ICT products, whether to which tier of consumer, just think of what is the current demanding product in the marketplace, right? Because if let's say we are selling a low traffic product, which is some product that is not desired by many people, then again your target market is not many people. So you want the mass market or you want the minority market, right? So you have to ask yourself, why are you selling the so-called boring stuff at the very first place, whereby you already know it, right? So the moment that we can remove this boring stuff and implement, put in interesting stuff, then your numbers will be more interesting, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I hope that I did answer to that questions.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Next question is how to make yourself outstanding from the price war if your pricing is a higher pricing compared than your competitor.
Uh-huh. All right. Okay. So number one, I would say when in terms of price war, why are we having price war? For those people who are trying to compete and win in this price war is because they are running out of strategies, right? That's why they compete in terms
Mm-hmm.
of price war. So
Mm-hmm.
just think of it. If let's say you want to win in price war today by reducing your selling price or your retail price, can you sustain your margin? If you can't sustain your margin, then don't do it, right? Because just now I did share that price equals to cost, right? So can you lower down your cost when you lower down your selling price? So that's rule number one. As for number two, this is how I would say it is deliver more value to our customer, right? So this is a very kind of interesting questions whereby I would like to ask each and every one of you, whereby number one, is your friend your customer? Questions number two, are your customers your friends?
Tricky
Right?
questions.
Yeah. So a lot of people, I believe that not all our friends are our customer. Agree? But all
Mm-hmm.
our customers have to be our friends.
Our friends.
Yeah, makes sense. So
Yeah.
just position yourself. If let's say today our friends is facing this trouble or this problem, how can I actually serve them more? How can I actually serve them better as a friend?
Mm.
Because you see, business is like this. The logic of business is 10 minus 9 equals to 1. So
Mm-hmm.
what is 10? 10 equals your sales. 9 is your cost. 1 is your profit. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
people know that your cost is 9. But why would they willing to pay us 10 so that we can make 1?
Why? Yeah.
It's about value. Because
Mm-hmm.
people believe that the value that they will be able to receive through this transaction. Simple as that. So
The
again,
value is always there.
yeah, value. So just ask ourselves as a business owner or entrepreneurs, what value can we create to the people? Are we just
Mm-hmm.
selling a product? Are we serving a group of people?
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Mm.
I hope I answered that questions.
Uh-huh. Yep.
Yeah.
And one more last question, then we can do a
Yeah.
wrap up. How do we adapt to the current situation in terms of branding? For example, if our business is more on the outdoor niche and current situation doesn't favor towards the direction. So do we adapt by selling product that suits for indoor activity, or won't it sort of clash with our story and enjoying going outdoor? Like
Uh,
this question is relatable to the current COVID-19 that's
yeah,
happening.
sure.
Mm.
Yeah. Okay, I understand about these questions, but again, the first thing that we have to address is what kind of outdoor products or business that again you are offering, because I knew I mean I have a friend who is running a travel agency, which is very big agency, and during time like this. That during this pandemic, not to say he shut down, but he have to put everything on hold, and
Yeah.
he himself, as the founder, the business owner of the company, he have to came up to Facebook Live and to start selling stuff with
Yep.
whatever resources that they can. So rather than focusing on the resources that we don't have, why not we focus on the resources that we have? So ask
Mhm.
ourselves that at this moment, what more can you do? Right? So if let's say your business all the time, your all your transactions in between, you're dealing with offline payment, would you be able to bring your business online?
Mm.
All right. So I think exabytes here, during this moment, you guys have this service whereby, I did saw the ads whereby, people selling durian, they can also bring their business online, right? Selling
Yeah.
sayur, they can also bring their business online, right? So maybe before this session ends, maybe I can share with, all of you, if let's say I have this privilege, that, in times like this, how can you actually strive, not to survive, but to strive and to thrive in your business? All right. So three things. Number one is to find a strategy that works for you. All right. So a lot of people, I would say, I'm trying to lose weight, but I've tried tons of strategies and I've tried tons of supplement, but I can't just slim down, right? Or my bone is bigger compared to any other people. I'm not sure if you've heard of that, but I think that when it comes to skeleton, whenever we get tear off, all the skeletons, they are the same. There's no bigger skeleton or smaller, thinner skeleton. They are the same, right? So
Yeah.
find a strategy that works for you. That's number one. Number two, find a story that supports you. All right, you can tell all the stories in the whole world that because of this, because of that, but why not you change your mentality, change your story that I'm going to do this no matter what, I'm going to do this whatever it takes. So that's point number two, change a story that supports you. So point number three is to be in a good state. Right. I believe that during this moment, a lot of us that we are having this mentality state whereby shit, I have no idea where to go or what to do next. Right. So change your state. So right now we have our mental state, we have our psychology state, we have our emotional state, and we also have our physical state.
Mhm.
Right. So what's the fastest way to change all the states? Is our physical state. All right. So in terms of physical state, you can just go work out, just give yourself high five whenever that you want. Because so far I've not seen anybody who is jogging or doing some bench press. They are crying that I'm suffering, I'm crying, right? So change your state. The moment that we can change our state, we have a brighter mind, we can have a clearer mind. Then after that, we will be able to change our story and we can find a strategy. So at the end of the day, is to be resourceful rather than looking for saying that, oh, we have no resources. Because I believe that all the speakers that have shared all this time in here this marketing fest, all these speakers, I believe that they have shared a lot of resources. So the
Mhm.
key is which one works best for you. Take it,
Mhm.
use it, apply it, done, and test it
Mhm.
out. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
I think
Thank
that
you.
was an amazing sharing. I think thank you for answering so many questions, Admas, and thank you for joining us at Marketing in the New Normal Marketing Fest and supporting us. Very pleasure, very great pleasure to have you on board. Thank you.
Thank you. So it's my honor and my privilege to be here. So I hope to see you guys again very soon. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Exabytes. Grow your business online.